Oh my goodness. It's a Machimaro stream. Machimaro VT stream. Hi. I'm Sikimaro today. Don't make fun of my voice, okay? We're playing more Animal and Nook because the beta alpha chest, it ends on the 30th. You also have a rummy nose. Rummy nose. I read crummy and said runny, and it came out rummy. I don't have a runny nose, no. I'm just very dry, and I have like a head cold and a cough and a sore throat. And I also feel like I have to throw up. It's okay. I'm okay. My headpad work? I swear to God, if my headpad doesn't work, I'm ending it all. Where is my headpad? There we go. It's okay, no worries. I'm not really sure how I got sick, but you know, we're here. Shizzle's sick, I'm sick. And we're playing games. We're having a good time. Hi, Azazel. Hi, Azazel. We're collecting things, we're foraging. We're building a tiny civilization on our desk. It's all a good time. I need amber, so I'm gonna go to the woods and try to find amber. Oh. What? It's almost over. Come play later? That's rude. What are we doing? Collecting fragrance. I had the most delicious spaghetti. It was so yummy. I don't know why, but I had been craving spaghetti. And we finally went out and picked some up. Meatballs, delicious with tomato sauce. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Another beautiful day. Go say hello to Master Gardener in Wooroovel. My voice gets really deep when I'm sick. I was trying to say Gigi, like Gigi! Gigi! This morning, and I sounded like the freaking girl from Divergent. I could not get my high notes out. Pretty funny. Mushroom. What kind of fragrance are you? Ebony. Ebony fragrance. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. Or good, or morning, or afternoon. Whatever time zone you're in. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the water. I'm sleepy today. I was really sleepy yesterday. Very, very sleepy. Give me the moss. I needed to make grass tiles. You went to a protest earlier, did you? I'm proud of you. How was it? Wave near Dalton. That was good. Fairly crowded. Lots of horn honks of support. Maybe 3 people counter protesting. Yeah, that's crazy.
What are you doing in there?
Gigi? Did you get yelled at, Gigi? Gigi got yelled at and he went It was cold though? Yeah, I'm sorry. Wait, what?
What?
What is he doing? Why are you yelling at him?
He was in her room.
He's okay.
No.
Sashimaro. Sashimiro. What the heck?
What?
Hello, Bormon.
What?
Hello, Bormon. How are you today? I'm Sikimaro. Hi, it's Gigi. Oh no, Mashi's sick. Get well soon, Mashi. Get some Mashi soup. I had spaghetti. I had spaghetti. It was delicious. What is this? Ice cubes? Sick in the head. Swamaro. Sushi Maro. What? Is that shawarma? Is that like a shawarma? Shawarmaro? Taco Maro? Bed Maro?
Pissing all by yourself, handsome?
Kissing all by yourself? Shawarmaro. Shawarmaro. Shawawamara. What are you saying? Who am I? I have so many identities. Mama Maro. Hey. Did you get my joke, Mashimaru? Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, yes, Pasta Maro. Why can't you send a duck to outer space? The bill would be astronomical. Yeah, I definitely want to be Pasta Maro. Good. Are you warm and wrapped in blankets, Burrito Maro? Bark, 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 bark. No, I have socks on now. I have a sweater and socks and pants. Soup marrow actually makes sense. I think Mashi is at least 70% soup at this point. Her blood type is literally soup. I made white sauce with chicken and spinach. That sounds delicious. Mashi sneeze. Hi, JJ. JJ, aren't you streaming? Did you end stream? I was lurking, but then I went to go get spaghetti. The fuck? You have a sweater and socks and pants on? As if you don't have them on every stream. You don't know my life. I'm a VTuber. Oh my fellas. Oh my fellas. And what is going on today? Everyone feels like I know. Oh, I don't know. Something's going on. I think it's the change in the season. It went from like warm or cold to warm and then cold, and it's crazy. I have to participate in the brewing activity. That means I need to get out my handy dandy. Mashi, I heard it's because of computer. Yes, probably. Hi Shark, I thought you went to bed. Wow, Shark, you lied to JJ. Actually, I heard it's computer. Make these guys super gay and horny. I need that as a sound routine. Computer, make these guys super gay and horny. You were ending streams. I assumed you were going to bed. JJ going to bed? At 6? JJ, do you go to bed that early? Purloin. How many minutes do I have until I can participate? Okay. So, hello everybody. We're playing the last final day of Animula Nook before it is no longer accessible for alpha testers. I'll show you my little homestead once I... Oh, what? Once I finish my daily quests. Look how cute Metpes is. I want her in my village. I want her in my village. And Medico, I have Medco in my village. GG! Alcohol kills viruses, by the way. Make sure to drink as much as possible. Damn. I feel like I'd throw up. Sip a nice steaming cup of floral tea and pop some balloons with everybody. No, IRL kitty. Mama has more important quests from a virtual kitty. That's not a kitty, it's a bunny. Gigi. 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 He does not like... Okay, you like that. You like that. Under the chin, scritches. Bad at recognizing anthropomorphic animals. Well, I will let you know that this is not a cat, it's a bunny. I ended because I need to walk my dog and I've been streaming for 8 hours. Oh my goodness. I hope you had a good stream, JJ. Can I get a shout out for JJ and Shark? Actually, I forgot again. Is your model a golden retriever? It is! I am a golden retriever. Pokopia. Final Fantasy.
Oh my god! Oh my god! so close. That was like comically close. Holy moly, Sonny! I live, bitch, indeed.
She's a cutie patootie, that's what. I haven't been sneezing much.
Where are we
But
as a
surprisingly, I only like
can't have our
sneeze a lot before I'm actually sick. So if I like start sneezing, I know I'm probably gonna get sick. Guys, what happened to Artopia? I thought you loved that game and now you don't talk about it, just like me not talking about my Tamagotchi. What happened to your Tamagotchi? I get that too. As soon as I start sneezing, I worry, and then I just down all the vitamin C mix, oranges and garlic. Yeah, I should probably have another one of those. It's called a Emergency. It's like a vitamin C packet. 20 plus death streak. Robo, hi Robo. I need the avocado. I don't have any ammo. Aw, I only got 80%. That's pretty good for only doing it by myself. I think that's like a team event. It's been a while. I missed being here. It's been a while. Thank you for coming back. Shizzle makes fun of the way I say spinach because he thinks I enunciate the itch a lot more than I should. Spinach. Thank you for the head pet that's not working here. Thank you. One day I will become a father, get tired from my child, and then I will adopt another one once the older one dies, or I marry it to someone. I don't know. This is what Tamagotchi taught me. It's okay, it worked in my heart. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Okay, we're gonna go find some amber. I got distracted with side quests. That's what Tamagotchi taught you. I didn't know that in the newer Tamagotchis you can hire a babysitter. You could literally hire a babysitter. That's so funny to me. One day I will become a father and send my child on a revenge journey against all my past enemies. Oh, hell yeah. It breaks the whole point of Tamagotchi. Yeah, but what if you're a working lady and you can't have your Tamagotchi on you at all times? What then? Then you shouldn't have gotten a Tamagotchi. I'm kidding. It's like those people who said, well, you shouldn't have gotten whatever. Resin. Yes. what is that? What did I just get? Oh, I think it was a fragment of some sort. This amber is really important in this game, chat. Make sure you have amber. Arctic, do you play Valorant? I only have 4 slots left in my inventory. This is terrible. This is how you make grass in the game, so we need as much as possible for our homestead. Oh, I also got cheesecake. We got a cheesecake to go from the restaurant we went to. Yeah, I can't wait to eat that. Make sure you write a diary and give out a page to each enemy, ranked from weakest to strongest, so that your child kills them. So that as your child kills them, they piece together a story that reveals that your child was fighting on the wrong side. What? Oh, Bormon, you always have silly stories to tell. Wait, it all just respawned. That's crazy. I just picked it all. Mushroom, mushroom, mushroom. I've never done this mini game. Mashi, I promise my child will watch you too. He will inherit my role here once I retire as a viewer. Oh no! When are you retiring? Don't retire. If you retire as a viewer, I'm gonna retire as a streamer. Hello, guy. Interesting. There's only one truth. Yo, Detective Hugo at your service. Free consultation for difficult cases. No solution, no charge. Hi, Hugo. I'm Mashi. Whoa, this is so cool. I've never met an actual detective before. Any top secret detective tricks you can share? Top secret tricks might be overstating it. But of course, if you want to hear, I could share some insights from my casework. Yes, please. In my professional opinion, on-site evidence should always be cross-referenced with the video surveillance, because the length of the residual clues can easily impact suspect identification when reconstructing the crime scene. You, as is well known, however, therefore omitting 5,000 words here. Oh my god. So impressive. Enough talk. I have an appointment with a doctor in 15 minutes to retrieve a report. Leave me your handy phone number. I'll be in touch. Detective Hugo, it's been a pleasure. Until next time. No, God has the pencil. Mashi as a text highlight. God drew the world and Mashi made it brighter. What? I made it brighter? It's so nice of you to say. Okay, I don't need to have my mouse plugged in anymore. This game's really hard to play because the camera's so terrible. Oh no. Oh no. Why isn't my mouse working? Oh no. Ren 2, I don't know why I rarely hop on. Wait, hold on. What did I miss? My mouse isn't working! Hold on, let me find where my is plugged in at. My phone charging? Because if my phone is not charging, that means something got unplugged and I don't know what got unplugged. Okay. No, now my mouse is stuck in the middle of the screen. And if he will be a she, I will force him to go to VTuber University. Maybe one day she will be as great as you. No, God has the highlight pen, has a pencil and Mashi. What? Rin2, I don't know why I really hop on. Maybe I'm slowly retiring. Oh. Or maybe you're just busy. Shoot the berry. Shoot the berry. Also, Mashi, speaking the fact that I will always have a silly story to tell, I'm glad I have a niche purpose. It's always an honor for me, a viewer, to serve you, the streamer. No, I'm frozen. No, she's broken. I'm not broken anymore. I'm fine. Anyway, sorry for sending too many messages. I scared everyone off. I don't think you scared anyone off. I think they're probably getting dinner, or they're busy, or they're lurking, and that's fine. Okay, we're going to the homestead, finally. Okay, so this is the garden area, entryway. So cute. This is where you park your bikes. And you go up here. And you can get your coffee here. I'm still in the process of building this little area. And then people who drive can park their cars here. And then we got the shop. Got the shop you could sit. And this is these are all my villagers. This is Barney. He's like a fairy tale writer. Oh, he's sleeping. This is Medico. They are like a herbalist, I think. Like a health nut. Hey, pal, fancy seeing you again. Heading to the gym? We can work out together. No? Alright, then. Let's go together next time. This is my friend, Vandy. She's probably sleeping too. The time zones in this game is kind of weird. And there's like... Oh, I haven't attended to my crops in a while. Oh no, my crops. Insufficient backpack space. Please clear. Why is Medico the only one awake? Twitch God, thank you for making me unemployed. It gives me a lot of time to watch Ren, Mashi, Height Gaming 420, Pumpkin, Europa, Luna, and Crouton Tom. Twitch, hallelujah, Twitch, amen. I miss Pumpkin the Yokai too. Pumpkin the Yokai is at work. It's kind of sad because, like, even if I do work on my homestead, it won't save my progress. It'll all be deleted. It'll all be deleted. Aren't you friends? Like, can message on each other on Discord. Don't tell to Twitch. God, I forgot I mentioned other social. Yes, we can. We always message each other on Discord. Look at all my crops. I sometimes go to Pumpkin Shrine DMs and send some stuff. It's always so scary and exciting at the same time. Oh. Bormon, stop sending me freaking orange apple and other fruit emojis. It's annoying. This isn't my shrine. Stop. No, Pumpkin would never say that. I think you're lying, Bormon. I finally got the dress I wanted. Yay, my dress. Yay. Look at me, I'm so cute. She said that 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard from her since. Maybe she starved to death because I stopped sending them. I will send at least a kilo right away. A kilo of oranges and apples. Oh my god. Bormon, you kill me. Adorable, your mightiness. Are you asking Pumpkin if I actually did that? No. No, I'm not asking Pumpkin anything. ... I'm actually not gonna lie, there were times when you were extremely serious and thought you didn't like me as a viewer. Now I see that I am very, very, very wrong. I'm sorry, the Mashimaru. I always liked you. I have always liked you, Bormon. I'm gonna invite Lanesteins to my house. I still don't know how to make a freaking thanks switch. Now I will refollow then. No, wait. You unfollowed? Wow, it's Amashi. You came to see me. Ah, you mean the decor for my new home is finished? Yes. Wow, that's so fast. You're so good to me. I can't wait. Coming to see it now. Come see your homeland, Steens. Follow age 1 year, 4 months. Watch time? I don't think I have that. I don't have that command. Gentlemen travelers home. Just kidding. I never stop following. I spent 30 minutes watching the pumpkin in a year. That's it? That doesn't seem right, Borma. I think you watched her for longer. Thanks for decorating. You're so thoughtful. It's exactly what I was dreaming of. So thank you. I'm giving you my, my favorite furniture set. You can use them as you please. Praise cotton. I love cotton so much. It's soft, fluffy, and can be shaped into anything. It fills the space that needs it, becoming a soft plush toy. A warm coat. Praise cotton. Cotton forever. The world cannot live without cotton. What an adorable expression. Because I filled out a survey today, and the question was, what's your favorite plant? I searched and searched, and cotton wasn't on the list. It was terrible. Unacceptable. Unacceptable! How could they not include cotton? The world needs fluff. I'm on board with this. The world deserves fluff. I'm actually in the end of 2025. Twitch showed me the results. I spent 14 minutes watching you. We'll try to find the screenshot, but only because I'm ignorant. Was ignorant. Posture check and hydrate and head pat. Thank you, Sharky. Did you need something from me? Yes. There's some mysterious graffiti popping up on the streets around the homestead. Any idea who might be behind it? Mysterious graffiti? That's my artwork. I've imbued those walls with variegated hues and... Who says variegated? What the heck? And designs that playfully intermingle with light and shadow. However, this might not be exactly ideal for other people. Fine, I'll clean it all up, including the gradient graffiti I painted on the street lamps and signboards. Your art really is everywhere. Your art really is omnipresent, Vandy. Tony. Oh, I haven't invited Tony to live here.
You want this for Christmas?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Strolling in the rain. Ooh, I got an SSR! Oh, my first SSR card! Yippee! I still don't understand what these are for. Fruitcake. Mashi TCG. No, not TCG.
Shadow. Kyle doesn't make me question my sexuality. Make me say yes. There's no question.
god, I have so much things that I haven't redeemed yet. What is that? Oh, that's how people were making bubbles. I missed out on so much. No! How do I get more of these little things? This is a cute house. Okay. Yoki. Jokey. We're dancing. We're dancing. Hell yeah, look at us go. God damn it. No, I'm messing up. What kind of dance is that? I'm dancing. It's my dance. La Boo Boo Dubai Chocolate at dance. 6-7 La Boo Boo Chocolate Skibbity. I'm making a TikTok. Leave me alone. I'm making a TikTok, Mom. I'm recording myself dancing. Mashi. What? song is kind of long. You're a Zoomer, but indeed a Sigma. You're not a Zuma. You're not a Zuma, but indeed a Sigma. Ah, I can't talk. I am not a Sigma. I'm an Alpha. That's cute. I got a bunch of new emotes. Oh no, that's so sad. No, 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 no. Alpha Mashimaron. Baby, I'm praying on. Baby, I'm praying on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive, just like animals, animals, animals. Shh! Be quiet. Be quiet. Shush. Oh no. I want to buy more songs. Maybe I'm praying on you tonight. Eat you. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals. You got that song stuck in my head now? Are you the dancer? Are you the dancer? Yeah, you are the dancer. Okay, we're gonna dance more. I like the dancing in this game. I think it's cute. No, we gotta start over. I messed up. We messed up. Look at her go. She's jamming. How This Feels game is popular on TikTok. Ah, I got distracted by the person. This game would be popular on TikTok? Is that what you said? Did I read that already? This is how, I mean, that is how I discovered this game, I believe. No, that's not how I discovered this game. I discovered this game through a friend. I want my cheesecake. All I can think about is my cheesecake. No, yeah, the people around you can hear the music and they can see you dancing. And they can actually join in as well. They can join in and dance with you. I think you have to like do an invite thing though for that. Ah! Hold on, Vormon. I'll read your message. Someone filmed some dances for TikTok apparently, so I waited, and then jumped out in front of the camera with my tongue out, just like that emoji of yours. Crazy. Okay. What about performance? Oh, actually. Who are you? Is that this? What is that smell? It's lovely, like faint, bitter coffee. Hi, I'm sorry to jump in like this, but what perfume are you wearing? It smells amazing, kind of like freshly brewed flat white, really distinct. It's not perfume. Oh, then what is it? I don't wear perfume. Probably just the coffee. I go through a lot of it. Guess the scent sticks to everything. Oh, so how many cups do you have a day? 3, maybe 4. That many? 1 to wake up, 1 to stay sharp, 1 to get through the evening shift, and 1 to keep the midnight overtime from killing me. Just your average corporate grunt. That sounds rough. Oh, I didn't catch your name? Philip. Anyway, I should get back to work. Take care. I love Philip! I love Philip! Philip, let's talk about coffee. Oh, you're so cute! I want to have Philip move into my town. Oh, I have so many I haven't opened yet. What the hell? How do I open all of them? Look how many I have! Holy heck. gold, 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 gold. Oh, she's cute. She reminds me of the sister from Animal Crossing. It's Core! Hi,
Ma'am, this is a
Core!
Wendy's.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Have you heard of Oni Pixel? I have not. Gold, gold, gold. Gold! Yeah! How are you, Core? Holy heck! I'm getting gold after gold. I swing into Lork. Mainly I working on things before I play games and stuff. But I'm well. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Core. I hope you're having good luck on your stuffs. You're making memes? Mix it up shit. Ah, I see, I see. This is terrible. I really hope they fix this. I want to open all these cards, and then I'm gonna go see about my cheesecake. I have that one. Unopened packs. 119. I need to ask the... Oh, I actually really like that. You can swap cards with people. Philip! What? I was totally wearing this dress. Got a couple of fashion designer friends I'd love to introduce you to sometime. You can pick their brains up and up your charm levels. Maybe even take a page from my book, yeah. Whoa, dream gold alert. Can't talk. Millions are on the line. Hobbies. Common brown bitter. Bubbles. Guys, Bubbles. No. Bubbles. 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 It's so slow. See, I wish the building in this game was like this perspective, but when you go into the build menu, hold on, let me open these. Oh, I can invite Philip. See, why is the top-down mode so close compared to the shrinking mode? Cancel. What do I need here? All I need is a vending machine, but I don't know how to get the vending machine. Invite Philip. We need like a counter. That's too small. No sleep. Sleep is for the weak. You stay. Good night, Marmon. I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze. Wow, it's Mashi. You came to see me. No, Marmon, go to sleep. Sleep is good for you. The earlier you sleep, the faster you'll wake up. If that makes sense. The faster you sleep, the earlier you'll wake up. Good, well, anyway, I gotta go to sleep. I work tomorrow. Oh my god, Arctic, please. Good night, Arctic. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Ah. You too. I feel like a waiter who brought food to a customer and they wished me to have a good meal back. Happy life to you. Happy life to you. Asmaro. You like my Asmer? I'm gonna go see if I can have some cheesecake. Be right back.
The cheese tax. You gotta pay the cheese tax every time you're cooking. When the cheese comes out, this puppy comes looking. The rules are the rules and the facts are the facts. And when the cheese drawer opens, you gotta pay the tax. The cheese tax. The cheese tax. Hand it over quick or things might get ugly. I can get really loud. I'm a really barky puppy. I'm not just asking cause I'm looking for snacks. This is real important business and you gotta pay the tax.
Hello. Shizzle is addicted to pop. Oops. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, Shade. Wait, what else do I have? Cox! Cox, did you beat Expedition 33 yet? I didn't know you were streaming it, Cox. I would have joined. You got to flying, though? You just got flying, though. Oh, nice. You're far. Are you learning how to, parry better? Yes. Nice. Yeah. You get that when you, unlock flying. And can I go underwater? I think you have to, I think it's soon. You just have to keep progressing the story, I believe. Wait, what is this one? Oh, that one's cute. What does this one do? That's so silly. Viper. This is... I mean, I suppose I could put this like here. So like, maybe I can make like a road. This could be like grassy. I don't know how I want to do this. Is Pumpkin home yet? Oh, the bike. Why can't I place it? like the bubble one the most. I didn't see what this did. Oh, it's a broom. That's really cute. Guys, should I switch to Pokopia? Make a Gigi? I don't know how to make a Gigi. With what? How is it in use? Okay, so this is like a nightstand. Water dispenser. What is this? Oh, it's a TV. I can go there. And then we've got furniture. Oh, it's an oven. Get the fridge. We've got this. And then a table. I like this sofa. Where's my bed? There's a bed. I wish there were dividers. What the hell? Make it out of what? Ah. I need a counter. I suppose this can be my counter, but we need to put our blender here and our oven. Rotate the crank. Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. What can we cook here? Fungi pie. Cake batter. I don't have cake batter. How the hecky do I get cake batter? It's so empty now. What do I do with all this space I have? What if I Okay, so like maybe we can like this can be like road. This can be the yard. A sharky. A sharky. Is my head pet working, Shark? Maybe my VTube Studio disconnected from my Twitch. Yeah, it did disconnect from my Twitch. Hold on, let me fix that. That's why it's not, the head pet's not working. I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sleepy enough, I didn't notice. Well, I don't want you to waste your points. Okay, it should work now. Okay, so... Okay, so that's good now. I'm not gonna lie, they need to work better on this, on the control of the building. It's kind of bad. Whose house is this? Hey! 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 No. Hey! Oh, this is Margaret's house. Okay, so I kind of do want her to have a little more yard. And maybe we can... Yeah, so like maybe I'll make it like that. Two more wide, and then I'll make like a dirt path as well. Sharky, you're cheating. Waterboard her. Is that what you're into, Cox? Okay. Yes, waterboarding you. Oh. Me specifically? That's crazy. Mashy. Cox. Next weekend? Sure. Are you gonna come and hang out with him? Actually? Oh my god! What was that? What happened? In the closet, we're gonna make a playhouse and watch movies. Okay, I'll clear out the closet for you guys. What about your puppy?
So you wanna live lost and you wanna be free, baby. Running out of time, that's a really bad beat. I mean, she wanna play hard to get this.
What am I watching?
By me, but I never wait long. I move on to what I need. I get my way, get out my way. Switch my place, I'm on my way.
Oh no.
No mistakes, I know the step.
Oh my, what the fuck was that?
I know the stakes, yeah. I don't show face, I keep my pace, yeah. I don't show face, I keep my go crawl, I'm down on my knee. That's me, I don't talk down, I just move how I need. Oh, late, hit her one time, now she going both ways. She knows in control, all that bullshit gets on you. I get my way, get out my way. Switch my
That's Getter. What's Getter? Go get her. Get her done. Go get her done. Anyways. Anyways, okay. Thanks for sharing with the class. Go take a seat. Go sit back down. It's so mesmerizing. They... I don't know, should they be like lined up with each other? Is that too like too much symmetry? I need to find like lawn decorations. Shit. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. What do you think, guys? I don't like how that's hovering. can't do that one, Sharky. I'm not 3D. Okay, this is just straight decor. Senwar, hello. How are you? Let's add another little house. Maybe like right here we can add a house. Right now I'm decorating my tiny homestead. My homestead is like my my desk, because I am a human who shrunk into a tiny person. So now I'm tiny and I can decorate my desk. Hello! Hello! I could put mushrooms everywhere. I wish there were tiny trees. Yeah, it's something of that sort. What should I put right here? This is like a weird crevice that I have. Should I put a fence right here? What did I say? Oh, the crevice. I put plants in here? This can be my house. That can be my house. What's gonna go over here? I need more fence. I'm trying to decide if I want the iron fence or if I want like a more homely, like picket fence. Oh, look at all the stairs I got. Wait, did I get? Did I get stone stairs? Asked to play Val, never responds. I was streaming. I'm streaming. You should have went in my chat. Yeah, I said I was able to log into my. You buy it from the shop. It's a buyable item. It's a buyable item? Crazy, I can't. No way!
Bloody hell, looks like I'm going topless. Sauce is everywhere. I'm gonna need to shower lickety split in the water closet.
Lickety split in the water closet. That was my accent. Oh my god. Ask Boffy. Did you ask Boffy? I did ask him. Did he respond? We could just play regular Val. Oh. Yeah? Arctic can make you. Arctic can make. He's asleep though. He said he had to sleep for work. Does anyone have a VPN that can make Pumpkin a fucking EU Valorant account. Ooh, I like these. These are cute. I'm all out of nectar and everything. Fuck. Wait. Do I have some in my storage? I don't have a VPN. OMG, ooh, hi, Shark. OMG, ooh. Ooh. Mashi, how are you doing in the Ditto building adventure? Shark, JJ, I haven't played much Pokopia. I use Opera GX browser and it has a VPN, but I doubt that works for games. Really? I don't have any nectar. Do you like my little town so far? It's cute, right? I got little mushrooms and little petals and little villagers. She doesn't have time to build. I would love to play it. I just have not been feeling okay enough to play anything really. But once this alpha test is over, because this is just an alpha test, like I'm just like playing this temporarily, I will definitely play more Pokopia. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Why are you head patting me so much? What did I do? Because I care. Thank you for caring about me. Thank you for caring about me. Let me ask Hawk, Pumpkin. I'll ask Hawk. Because Hawk is who I talk to make my... Or, I used Hawk's VPN to make my EU account. I've been looking at campers and I'm gonna get one. Have you settled on which one you're gonna get? VPN. You can live in my backyard. No, actually you can't live in my backyard because, yeah, things are happening currently. Things are happening. Maybe I could do like little benches. Like little sitting areas. He's okay. Let me know when you are ready. I'm setting stream up in the living room. Why are you redeeming VIP for Cox? I didn't say I would. I think VIP is limited to only the people who redeem it for themselves. I'm making that rule. Teehee. He has to struggle like everyone else. Unless he gives us a ride on his motorcycle, that's a no-go. And lets me braid his hair. These are the conditions. I'll let you know when I'm ready. I thought you couldn't stream Valorant. Cox. Yeah. What's the name of your motorcycle? Oh my god. Dick? Jesus Christ. Alligator! There's an alligator in my yard. This is like the neighborhood. And Dr. Yokai. Hi, I'm ready. You ready? You're ready to ride the motorcycle? Is that what you said? Is that what you're talking about? To eat brisket and potato. Yes. She's ready to ride dick. Okay, I'm gonna end stream only because I want this VOD to only be Animula. And then I'm gonna restart stream. Okay. I'll be back. I'll be back.